Welcome to Embracing the Bold Radio Hour, where we explore the vibrant arts, entertainment, and design scene right here at Valencia College. Join us as we chat with students, faculty, and artists about their journeys, inspirations, and professional experiences. Each episode unveils the creative pulse of our campus, offering insights into the world of artistry and education. Let's delve into the heart of creativity together right here on Embracing the Bold. We're so glad you joined us today, and I'm your host, Rebecca Lane. Hi, welcome back after an incredible summer. This is our first show returning for the fall semester, and we're excited to be here. So today we have our guest, Paul Vandersande, and we're really excited for this interview. Before we get started, I just want to encourage you to check out our arts season. The first show of the year will be the musical Return to the Forbidden Planet, and that opens on October 17th, followed very closely by our Haunted Experience, which opens the week after that, and we will be holding auditions the second week of classes. So if you are interested in performing in either the Haunt or the musical, please reach out to us and we will get you set up with those auditions, or you can follow us on our social media. Those are both great ways to learn about what's happening. And so here we are. Welcome, Peter.
Welcome too.
I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah.
So Peter how long have you been with Valencia College?
10 years.
10 years?
Yes.
That's amazing. What brought you to Valencia?
Raoul Valery had a tape recorder that had to be adjusted. And he, for some reason, knew that I could do that. And that resulted in, from do you want to teach here? And, yeah.
So you knew, was Raoul the program chair at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And he wanted a tape recorder adjusted?
At that time, they still used multi-track tape recorders. And one of them was out of alignment and had to be aligned. And I did that. Yeah.
And that invitation turned into teaching here?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what did you teach here?
I teach here audio engineering, actually, and everything that has to do in the studio. Yeah.
And everything to do with the studio.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you were to describe your specialty and your art form, like what is your specialty?
I have many. I am a performing musician, and I am a composer, and I am an audio engineer, and I am an electronic engineer.
That's a lot of things.
Yes.
So when you're a performing musician, what instruments do you perform?
Cello, guitar, keyboards, bass, and most anything strings, actually.
Anything strings?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite?
Not really.
Whichever suits the need?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, performing musician, do you have a genre that you lean into?
No, I started off with medieval music as a cello and viola da gamba player. And rock and roll intervened. And at that time, I was a member of a little musicians club on the Dutch radio. And beside me, there was a boy who played guitar. And that was very interesting for me. So I built my own guitar and started playing in rock and roll bands. And from there, record contracts and tours and anyway, all over Europe.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And so you started with medieval music.
Yeah, actually, I started off playing cello as 11 years old in a radio program.
In a radio program.
Yes,
So
every Wednesday
so not
afternoon.
even.
Yes.
So I mean, when did you start learning or practicing?
Between 6 and 7 years old.
Oh wow! So by the time you were 11, you were performing professionally at a radio program.
Yes.
How did that happen?
I was asked by the program people.
Okay.
Yeah, and that had something to do with my teacher, Mr. Professor Ball, and there were a whole bunch of kids that went through the same routine. Most of them are professional musicians now, or actually retired professional musicians, because that's how old I am. But yeah, that was called the Radio Musicians Club, and that was a live radio broadcast every Wednesday afternoon. And I have done that for 5 years until I was 17 and went to a conservatory for cello. And my professor, Mr. Ball, played viola da gamba. And yeah, I loved that. I wanted to play viola da gamba as well. So I made especially basso continuo and medieval music my specialty, and that is where I have my master's.
Okay, so you went from performing for a radio show and taking private lessons into...
No, I went to school.
Oh, you went to school.
To a special school, yes.
Oh, so when you were 6 years old, you were going to a special school for music?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And where was this?
Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I went to what we call het Goois Muzieklyceum. And that is a school where children with special gifts could just get their education and play a lot of music. I played in all kinds of ensembles, of course, and I had to sing in a choir and all those things, and I've known that actually all my life. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to a special school for musicians.
Yes.
And you ended up playing on a radio station.
Yeah.
And then you ended up going to
that
conservatory.
That went at the same time, actually.
It wasn't at the same time, or it was?
Yeah, and that wasn't the same time. Yeah.
And so while you were at the school, you were playing on the radio show.
Yeah.
And after that school, you went to conservatory to pursue your master's in cello.
Yes.
And at the same time, you studied with your Professor Bolt to learn his specialty instrument, which I forgot what it was.
Viola da gamba.
Viola da gamba.
Yeah,
what's a viola da gamba?
And that is an older family of the. You cannot say the violin family, but the violin came out of that. And the viola da gamba is most like a cello, only not with 4 strings, with 6 strings.
Okay.
And instead of overhand bowing, you play it underhand bowing, and you can vary the tension of the hairs of your bow, so you can play chords on it.
Oh, interesting. So you can vary the tension simultaneously as you play it?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And does it sound very much like a cello?
No.
Oh.
Far more in the alto violin, and a little bit nosier.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, it has frets. A violin and a cello, double bass, and have no frets at all. But viola da gamba has frets. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so at that point, you were playing classical music and medieval music, and then you found the guitar. Or then you discovered rock music.
At the same time, yeah.
So when? How old were you?
I started building my own guitar when I was 12.
So how did you have the knowledge to build your own guitar?
I have an uncle who's a luthier.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is a luce?
He builds guitars.
Okay.
Yeah, and classical guitars, a Taurus model. Yeah, and so I went to him, and he had the layout for the fretboard, etc. And yeah, with a saw and glue and fret wire actually. Yeah, I built my own guitar, but my father is an electronics engineer.
Okay.
And I wanted to have an electric guitar. So he told me how to wind a guitar pickup and to wire it with a volume control and a tone control. And then he gave me the schematic to build an amplifier. Very simple one actually, but I had an amplifier. So I had an electric guitar with an amplifier.
You're reading really soft on the...
Okay, sorry.
You have to come a little closer.
All right.
But we can move it up closer if that helps.
Let's do that. This done. Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So your father taught you how to build a very, very simple amplifier.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what?
I found some guys that wanted to have a band as well, and the drummer was like me, 16 or so, and
wait. So you're 12.
No. That's already later.
Okay.
I played an electric guitar for quite a while, just on my own.
Now, did you pursue classical training on the electric guitar,
No.
or were you? This is just on your own.
No, I had this guy sitting beside me who played excellent guitar and still does. And his name is Hans Hollestelle, and he showed me. From this is an E chord, there's an A chord, there's a G chord, there's a C chord. This is an F major, 7th. Wow, jazz chords. And, and this is how you make it in a sus2 and a sus4 and all that kind of thing. Yeah, and I heard a new chord, and yeah. But he played, and he was 2 years older than I was.
Okay.
And he did build his own guitar. That it was actually for me that I can do that too. And so that is how it started. And anyway, he was at that moment very good already. Yeah.
Yeah.
His most known work is Stars on 45 that were big hits in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that time he had a rock and roll band called the Toreros. And they were 17, 18 years old and made records at that time already. And he played in the Metropole Orchestra for the radio as a guitar player. Yeah. And we all could read, and we were very good in reading because we learned to do that in the children's radio program.
You learned to sight read.
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
and you had an hour to rehearse, and then you went live on the radio, and you had just to do it. Yeah.
Now, at that point, were you sight reading notes, or were you sight reading like chord progressions?
Both.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened after that? So you pursue your master's.
Yeah.
What was happening while you were pursuing your master's? Were you only focused on school, or did you have outside groups, or what were you doing?
When you studied music in the Netherlands at that time, you were not allowed to do something outside the conservatory.
Okay.
Guess what I did? I was singing in a recording studio, background, and playing guitar and cello. Yeah.
Secretly,
Secretly, yes. But I was not the only one.
Were you getting paid for that work, or?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And at that time, I thought, okay, I have an electric guitar, and why don't I have an electric cello? So, yeah.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable question.
And that was already a little bit later. That was when I was 18, 19 or so. And the first records of the Electric Light Orchestra. And guess what? Everybody wanted to have that and Time Seller and these song of the Spencer Davis Group with cellos. And so, taka, 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 taka. And if you did that on a record, then they say, yeah, what do you have to do with live? Can you do that? Yeah, I have an electric cello. Yeah. So there I went and with a cello everywhere in a band. And anyway, a few of the bands, we went to talent shows, and nobody had ever seen a cello in a rock and roll band. Yeah, and there was it. It was me. Yeah. No, and when I was 19.
Wait, now did you build your own electric cello?
No, I made a pickup for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't build the cello, but you made
No.
the pickup for the cello.
I used my concert cello. And yeah, that went very wrong, because I was backstage one time and I was called up, and we had a blackout, and there was a cable just above the floor, and I fell on top of my cello.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Did it survive?
In the end, yeah, there was a master violin repairman, Mr. Mulder in Amsterdam, and he repaired the top, because there were 2 breaks in it. Anyway, the fingerboard was broken.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was disastrous. Yeah, they came on with the cello in pieces.
I guess the gig didn't go very well.
No, that's, no. The funny thing is, I gave that cello to Raoul, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Raoul loves to try all kind of musical instruments, and I have a few cellos. So okay, the good old broken cello to Raoul. Now, there's some beautiful instruments still. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as I told you before we started recording here, I'm returning to Holland. Right. And I have so many instruments. And so I said, okay, I can play only one cello at a time. Yeah.
And how many cellos do you have?
3.
So now you have 2? Yeah. Or you still have 3?
No, I have 2 now. And
you have 2 now, and Raoul has your 3rd.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to pursue your master's in cello? Why not pursue something else?
I never thought about it. I just did it. You know, playing cello, that was the only thing, and making music. I was so blindsided.
What did you love about it?
Making music. That is the only thing I wanted. You know, don't get in my way. I want to make music. Oh. And yeah. And then I had a very bad accident. I was driving a bicycle, and a car came from the right, and I was flying through the air, and I damaged my wrist.
Oh no!
Yeah. So, and that made that I was not able to get a placement in either in the radio symphonic orchestra or in other, because the chance to have problems with this, with a wrist, especially on the bowing wrist, and so I didn't get that chance to have that apprenticeship.
Okay.
And the how do you call it? The Ministry of Defense knocked on my door. Say, Peter, and you have done your final exam. I was almost 20 at that time, and you have to go into the army.
Oh no!
Yes.
Wait, so you finished your master's degree?
Yeah.
And you broke your wrist.
Yes.
And then the Ministry of Defense called you to serve in the army.
Yeah.
So you were. Is that something that everybody has to do in Holland?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't like weapons.
Okay. Is there an option for a pacifist?
Yeah. I refuse to. I say, okay, I have to do the service. I can understand it, but I don't touch any weapon. You have no choice. You have to. No, weapons are not for me. I'm a musician. I make music. Yeah. And anyway, after 4 days, I was home.
Oh.
Yes. And the funny thing was, I was home and my parents said, "What are you doing?" And I didn't want to learn to shoot or that kind of thing. That is not for me. I wanted to, there was no possibility for a cello player to do anything in the army.
Right.
If you play trumpet or trombone or drums, then or metallophone or that kind of thing, then you can be a musician in the army. But a cello player or a guitar player, that was no. So they sent me home, and the thing was, normally you have to do replacement work, like going into the east of the country and dig in and make defense on walls and that kind of thing. But I had this problem with the wrist, so I couldn't do that kind of work. So they sent me completely home. And I was only one day home. Some friends of mine rang the doorbell and they said, "Peter, we have a contract in Lido in Amsterdam.
Oh.
And for a month, and we need a guitar player singer." And from that moment, and that is about 1965, and till way in the 80s, my main income was just playing guitar, cello, anything.
Wow.
Making recordings, etc.
Were you playing for specific bands?
Yes.
Which bands were you playing for?
My own band was called Serpentine.
And what did you guys play in Serpentine?
Progressive rock.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go into YouTube, you type in Serpentine, Step Inside, then you hear what we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I lost my point, actually.
So you were making a living as a musician,
Yeah.
and you were part of a number of bands.
Yeah.
And so I asked you which bands you played for.
Yeah. anyway, Serpentine was my own band. I was a lead singer and the band leader, actually. And I wrote most of the songs for that band. We made 2 LPs and 29 singles.
Oh, wow.
Yes. After that, we had a horrible situation with our manager. The man had a enormous amount of money from his parents, and he decided to buy a shipload full of shrapnel from Vietnam.
Okay.
And nobody wanted to buy it from him. So he went bankrupt.
Oh, no.
Yes, and suddenly our bus was gone, our equipment was gone. Yeah, and what made it worse was that my dear friend and guitar player, Oni Lopulalan, great guitar player, real good, couldn't read a note. Everything was ears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's one of those talents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we played for the Edwin Hawkins, Edwin Hawkins singers and Melanie in the Amsterdam Concertgebouw as a support act.
You said the Hawkins singers?
Edwin Hawkins.
Edwin Hawkins. Okay.
Yeah. And their guitar player was lost. And they heard Oni playing, and they say, can we borrow him for a world tour? And my manager said, yes, of course.
Is this the manager who sold all the stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it started with that. And luckily, I did at that time produce records for myself and for some other bands, and did wrote arrangements. I was more in the studio at that time or playing live. Then I was at home. Everybody said, "Who are you?"
Wait, so when did you, like, what's the timeline? So you don't go to the military, or you do, and then they send you home.
Yeah.
And then you start playing in a rock band.
Yeah.
And then, but when did you start composing?
Oh, when I was 6 years old.
Oh, so you were already composing.
Yes, I was.
You weren't just learning how to play and read music.
And I wrote little pieces for the Radio Musicians Club as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were playing and composing and performing.
Yeah, I've always
and building your own instruments.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so when did you... So you talked about being in a rock band. When did you start working as a studio musician, or was all of that simultaneous?
All simultaneous. As I told you, I was doing that illegally when I was studying. Yeah. And I was actually already a studio musician when I was 11 years old. And for radio,
right?
There's not much difference in doing live radio or doing recordings in a recording studio. You just have a microphone in front of you and you just play.
Did you have a preference between studio work or live performance?
No. But I really love to perform live, yes, for sure. But it is different, you know.
What's the difference?
The concentration. And studio is very concentrated. Live has some elasticity. Yeah.
You get a little bit of grace in live performance.
Yeah, and you can do things you wouldn't do in a studio. Most of the time, if you do studio work, it is listening. No note will be out of the pocket, and you can do things on stage that are actually say from. Won't you do? No, let's do that again. Yeah, and yeah, when you make a mistake on stage, the trick is make that mistake twice, and then people think, "Oh, that's how it is." Yes, yeah. And I played with one of the world's best guitar players, Jan Akkerman from Focus. I played in Focus as a bass player.
Okay.
And Jan Akkerman was actually an expert in that. He played so fast that he had to hit wrong notes. But if he did that, then he knew, oh, there's a wrong note. Now let's do it again. From listen to me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, didn't Miles Davis say something like, it doesn't matter if you hit a wrong note, it matters what you do after it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and if you play a lead instrument in a band, and in the first years that I was touring, I played mainly bass and was lead singer of the band. Yeah, as a bass player, you hardly ever play a wrong note. But as a lead guitar player or a keyboard player, it's inevitable that, yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when, and I'm guessing this actually all happened at the same time, but I'm going to ask, when did you start recording? Like actually like the audio engineer part?
Very young, because my father was an electronics engineer and an audiophile. And he had a Revox tape recorder. And guess who was experimenting with a tape recorder? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had one of the first stereo tape recorders, a very high quality machine, a Revox. And you could do sound on sound. So you made one recording, then you played it, and then on the other track you re-recorded with something new. And that way I could do cello trios on my own. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And how, like, what year was this around?
Oh, that is late 50s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have been recording and playing cello and singing
And playing
since you
guitar
were-
and playing bass
guitar since you were 6
and
years old.
keyboards. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what? So you graduate and you're performing in bands and you're doing studio recording and stuff
Yes.
like that. So, were there any highlights? So, I mean, that sounds like you landed in this really rich career that a lot of us dream of, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what after that? What were the peaks and valleys?
The peaks were that I was chosen by Robbie Dale. He was part owner of a pirate radio station on the North Sea, Radio Caroline.
Okay.
Yeah, Google that.
Radio Caroline.
Radio Caroline. Yeah, and he was one of the owners of that, and his artist name was Admiral Robbie Dale. Yeah, and he wrote some songs, and he needed an arranger, and I came with some recordings that I had made at home for rock opera. Overigens. Oh, sorry, I was speaking Dutch. I came in the radio station the recording studio of the radio station, and I said, okay, can I get some broadcasting air for those compositions? I said, no, I can't do that because it's not published yet. No, that is a problem here in America too, by the way.
You can't play original work that hasn't been
Yes.
published and copywritten?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and everything has to go through a publishing company or an attorney. Yeah.
Got it.
So I wrote a whole bunch of film music for documentaries, and those all had to be verified by an attorney that there was no problems with other composers, etc. It's getting worse and worse with that. Yeah.
Okay, to make sure that you weren't doing any copyright infringement.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But it makes composing a very expensive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it does.
Yeah. So if you're just a startup composer, and then you have to go through that thing, you get in front of a copyright attorney, and he says, I want to have so much money if you want to do. Yeah. Try to make a composition, go to Universal, and they say, no, we don't want to listen to it, and we need an affidavit from your attorney.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, anyway.
So you've spent time navigating the business of composition as well as
Yes,
the
yeah.
actual act
Yeah,
of
in
composing.
Europe it's easier.
Okay.
But the funny thing is, I have a publishing contract with Peer International. That's American.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you said one of the peaks was working with the Radio Caroline?
And with Robbie Dale. Yes.
With Robbie Dale
Yes.
specifically.
Yeah. I made so many studio hours with him.
Oh, how
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That's as an arranger, as a session player, as a standby audio engineer. And the audio engineering, that is a part. I went to England because of Robbie, and got with his help an opening at in Guildford University, and I did there the Tonmeister course, audio engineering by John Borwick.
You taught a master course.
Yeah.
Is
No.
Oh.
I got my master's from there
Oh, okay.
for audio engineering. Yeah.
Oh, wait. So do you have more than one master's?
Yeah.
Oh, so you have a
Yeah,
master.
yeah,
You're
you have to have a master in a musical instrument to get a master as Tonmeister.
Oh, so master and meister are two different degrees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a master in cello,
Yeah.
but then your master's in audio engineering
Yes.
helped you become a meister? Or no?
No.
Or they're two different things.
The combination of those two degrees is called Tonmeister,
Got it.
sound master. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you got that degree in London?
No, in Guildford, that is near Windsor. That is south of London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So why did you pursue a master's in sound engineering?
Because I was working in it, and I got the opportunity because I worked for an English publishing company. So yeah, why not? Yeah, and that was the end of the 60s.
Okay.
And beginning of the 70s, and then now it was an awesome timing in England, and yeah, and together with Robbie to the Marquee Club, and so play anybody there. Yes, and the Rolling Stones. They all played in that club. Jimi Hendrix.
They played in that club. So what?
The Marquee Club in London.
The Marquee Club in London. And so, and I may have misunderstood this. So what was your role at the Marquee Club?
No, just listening.
Oh, you just went and listened.
And because Robbie wanted to, what's happening in the. Okay, can you do that as well? Some of it. Yeah.
Wow. So what happened then?
Robbie got a opportunity to be the director of a radio station in Ireland.
Okay.
And he went to Ireland, and I met an English girl. I married her, and and she wanted to stay in Britain or in Holland because her father was Dutch and her mother was English.
Okay.
Yeah, and anyway, my band, Serpentine at that time, and later on Focus, they operated from Holland. So that is how we parted. Yeah.
That's how you and Robbie parted.
Yeah.
Okay.
But always kept in contact. Yeah. And he and his wife Stella have now. Robbie died 2 years ago, but they had a resort at the Canary Islands at the end. Yeah.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Did you get to visit?
No, it is only for elderly people. Yeah. But he came to me here in Florida.
Good.
Yeah.
So what?
And the dip.
Yeah. What are the dips?
1972. Oil crisis.
Ooh.
We were not allowed to drive in the weekends. So
What?
yeah, the oil crisis, and everybody had. There was nobody on the street, only bicycles or people walking, because it was not allowed to drive in the Netherlands, in Germany, and Belgium.
Oh, wow. And where were you living at this point?
In the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands.
Yeah. And so we were not allowed to go to gigs. So suddenly I had no work anymore. But luckily in Holland we have very good social security. So if something like that happens to you, and especially those performances were very important for us as a basis for the resale of records, etc.
Right.
But the performances itself were paying very well, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that it took almost a year. Yeah. So, and that's then we got in 1972 at the end in November a storm and blew the roof of my house. I lived in a very old 300-year-old farm, and
Okay.
actually those farms in the north of the country, they are sort of castles, because those farmers had to defend themselves for the town Groningen. they wanted to have all that area for themselves. So yeah, there's a weird situation in the north of the Netherlands. It's so 300 years ago.
So the farm houses were defendable.
Yes, yeah, but the roof were of straw. What is anyway? That roof was about 60 yards long. Went up like a harmonica.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
And you should have seen. That was horrible. Everything was wet, and that roof was about 300 years old. And it was I lost most of my records. I lost and all my papers, my compositions, my arrangements, everything was gone.
Oh
yeah,
no!
Yeah. So that is actually the lowest point in my career, because instruments were damaged, and my good old piano was damaged, and especially that was a good old Zimmermann, and I wrote most of my songs on that piano. So that's something that hurts very much. Yeah.
And were they damaged beyond repair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That whole roof was collapsed, and it was like a hurricane here.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, Holland, that part of Holland, is just lower than sea level. Mm-hmm. So I lived on that farm. That farm was on a dike, and those dikes have coupures. How do you call that in English? Anyway, they make the dike lower, and so that they can go with carts, etc. So they don't have to go over the dike. Mm-hmm. But when there's a storm, the people that live beside the dike opening, they have to put beams in there and put sand in it. So I was in the middle of the night waiting for that. I was soaking wet and wind anyway. And I thought, okay, I go home, find my wife completely we have no home anymore.
Oh no! Oh, so she'd been at home alone.
Yes.
While you were helping.
Yeah, we were dike watchers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you came back and the roof was gone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is a low point.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in the States?
That is a whole different story. I played in the mid-90s. I played in Amsterdam in a pub with my group Blueskin, and called Bourbon Street on the Kruissteeg in Amsterdam. And a big American guy with a ponytail like me, man, your band is rocking, and can I play with you? I said, okay. And he had a harmonica. And the guy started playing but didn't stop. And with that, he had, like you, a white shirt on, and he burst his lip. His whole shirt was under the blood.
Oh, no.
Yes. Anyway, I said, man, you better. This is my show. And his name is Ken Hatley. And anyway, he's a producer.
Okay.
And he had a record label here.
Okay.
The Catbone Records. And you say, I want you to record with my wife. I say, okay. You know, we had a lot of people saying, hey, you guys, we want to record with you. Okay. Well, hardly ever happens. So I was at home, and I gave him one of my business cards. And, yeah, is this Peter? Yeah, this is Peter. Ken Hatley from Claremont, Florida. When are you free? I said, no, I worked for the Rotterdam Conservatory at that moment. I said, okay, I have spring break. I can go and get to you at spring break. So, okay, send you a ticket. And yeah, that was a ticket. So I flew to Orlando, was picked up, and there's he had a gorgeous house in Claremont, and the haunted house there on Osceola, and beautiful. And anyway, he said, "This is my wife Donna Hadley, and this is George Cummings." And I thought, I know that guy from something. That happened to be Dr. Hook from Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. Yeah. And he says, I want you to do something. And anyway, his wife, Donna, has a gorgeous voice.
Oh, wow.
Really gorgeous voice. And anyway, I rehearsed with her and said, okay, but I had to go back in 6 days or so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then suddenly I got a telephone call and said, Donna from, I'm coming to Netherlands, and then we can see if we can put a production together. And there she was, and we made a CD full of stuff, but they wanted to have some brass on it, etc. So let's do that in Claremont. Yeah, and my one there, Kenny said, we have on Tuesday evenings we have jam sessions in the Colony Cove. Now, and there were all kind of Disney musicians there, and those were hell of jam sessions, really good. Yeah, that was, and anyway, the restaurant manager said, "From they like how you play guitar," and anyway. She turned out to be my wife a year later. Yeah. And we married in Rotterdam, and she had 2 daughters.
All right.
And here comes the story from the international school. That's American education is about 2 years behind. And yeah. So it was a little bit problematic for those 2 girls to go 2 years back, being 14 and 16.
Right.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, I have some contacts in America, and let's see what happens. And so after 3 months, we went back to she still had her house in Claremont, in Groveland actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for work. You know what they said to me? You're overeducated.
Oh my goodness.
Now, this is my American story. So I thought, okay, the best way is just to get a staffing firm assigning me to something and don't say what I can do.
All right.
Okay, that was $15 an hour, but it was something. Luckily, I had some money, so we could sit it out. And anyway, I had a nice. I had quite a lot people asking for me as an audiovisual engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain moment, the program manager from AVW called me up from, Peter, you're busy, aren't you? I said, no, not at this moment. So, oh, and can I name the firm? Anyway, I do it anyway. Westaff. Yeah. They had a contract with AVW that they were only allowed to hire me when I did 600 hours for Westaff. After that, they were free to hire me. They make that kind of contracts.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
I warn all my students, by the way, for that kind of thing. If you go and make a conclusion that you can be hired outside that contract. So AVW was not allowed to hire me directly. They always had to do it through Westaff. But Westaff had not enough work. So they gave him a job, and the other ones were at home. And this AVW called, no, he is on the job, while I was sitting at home. Yeah. So I went to an attorney and said, bye-bye Westaff. And I got freelance continuously for AVW and TELAV and PSAV, etc. And they sent me all over the world.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were based in the States, but
Yeah.
you were able to travel.
Yeah, Mexico, Canada, all over, America, Hawaii, and...
And was this primarily as an audio engineer then?
As an audio engineer and as a program manager, yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And so that sounds like a totally different career from your music career.
But remember, I did audio engineering.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had always a guitar with me.
Okay.
So I was playing in the hotel room on my guitar. Yeah. So always a guitar with me. Yeah.
Always a guitar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you start teaching?
I did that started in the early 80s.
Okay.
I did a program that was called a school concert, just in my school and in the area where I lived, because one of the teachers there said, it's so interesting what you do and do a recording and so. Could you make a program for my students? I said, yeah, I can do that. Why not? So I made a 2-hour program explaining how recordings were made. And then I thought, that's a nice thing to do on a regular basis, because I put a lot of work in it. And so why do this only once, you know?
Right.
So I got in contact with a foundation. It's called the Stichting Schoolconcert, Foundation of School Concerts. And they said, oh, we don't have a program like that. And from about 1986 till 1990, yeah, I did over 300 of those concerts. Yeah. And at that moment, in 1988, I got a telephone call from the dean of the Rotterdam Conservatory. Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, we want to do something with electronic music. Are you interested to set up a program? And I thought, wow, why not? So I went there, and I had the honor to do what actually Raoul did here. I set up a recording studio at the Rotterdam Conservatory, mm-hmm. and a PA for live concerts, etc. And I made a syllabus for 5 years. They ended up as toonmeisters. Yeah, and toonmeister course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have done that 12 years. Yeah.
All right.
And at the same time, because you can do that in Holland, they really like it when you're a performing artist. I had my band, Blueskin, and then you have that contact, and again. Anyway, I toured in my vacations through Europe, mainly Switzerland, France, and Belgium, and did a blues tour. Yeah.
A blues tour?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
So you've played classical music, you've played folk music, you've played progressive rock.
Yeah.
You've played blues.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
No.
Music?
Yes.
And when you're composing, do you have a favorite genre to compose in?
Yes. I think my strength is string orchestras.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite string instrument to compose for in particular?
Cello and alto violin. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because of the sonority of the sound. Yeah. And my first arrangements that I made for Robbie Dale, mm-hmm. There were no violins, only altos and cellos, double basses, because I didn't like that piercing sound of a violin. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And later on, they said, why no violins? I want to hear violins. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. And what I love, by the way, but there's another side on it. I love trombones.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
They are so flexible. They can do things you won't believe. Yeah. I made trombone arrangements. That instrument can be so smooth and so wild. But I play cello in an orchestra. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the trombones are straight behind you. If they play a fortissimo, they play a fortissimo and you can't hear your cello anymore. Yeah.
Now, do you play trombone too?
No. No. No, unfortunately, I have bronchitis, and you can hear, and my lungs are not capable of putting out that much power now.
So what advice, you've had such a rich career, you've done so much,
Yeah.
you specialize in so much. What advice do you have for students who are hoping to, I would say hoping to do what you do, but I almost think like, I mean, just what advice do you have for students who are interested in music or recording or sound design or composition?
Now, a good bass is play a musical instrument. There's no alternative for playing a musical instrument because it trains your ears.
How so?
And especially making music, making productions, making recordings, everything is based on your ears. And start young with playing a musical instrument, then you learn that not only your voice, but your hands can make a difference. But everything you do, if you sing or play an instrument, it is your ears that tell you what you're hearing. And the thing is, especially with audio engineering, like what we do here, and with music recording, etc., then the capability of listening to an instrument, going into another room with a window in between, and then getting the sound of that instrument in that room in your computer these days. That means that you have to have a memory for that. And the best way to train that memory, that hearing memory, is playing a musical instrument. And because then you know, I want to have this tone, you want to have that tone, or this tone is out of tune, and how do I correct that, etc. And you see, I'm figuring cello.
Yes, as you're talking about notes, you're finding them on your air cello.
Yeah, and that's and play. Please start with a musical instrument. It will be the basis for everything else you do. If I do audio engineering, my ears always know from, oh yeah, that's what I want to hear. And then the other things, the technology comes afterwards. And but there's, it's unfortunately not that simple. But good ears is very, very important. Yeah.
So your advice is study a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Whether they want to perform or compose or be audio engineers.
Yeah. Always. And it will help you the rest of your life. Yes.
That's amazing. So we've got our rapid fire questions next.
Okay.
And then we'll conclude our conversation.
All right.
I've got 10 questions, so really quickly.
Okay.
Fill in the blank. Creativity is?
Love.
What motivates you the most?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, I know during our conversation, it sounds like every step you were like, well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. No,
So curiosity?
For sure, yes.
Opportunity?
Belongs to there. Yeah, it is a combination of a whole bunch of things. Yeah, I can't put a finger on it. No, it's, yeah.
So in 1 to 3 sentences, describe your favorite creative project.
Actually, in composing for a film, yeah.
Which film?
doesn't matter.
So your favorite creative project
is seeing something visual and make a sound base on it. Yeah. And rather play it myself.
And you'd rather play it yourself.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you have a visual stimulus and you're creating the sound base and you get to play it.
Yeah.
Do you need it to be, do you need to write it, or do you prefer to improvise it?
I do quite a lot of Mickey Mousing. That is, you calculate exactly the time of the frames from here to here. But I want to hear that movement in the music. Yeah.
Okay.
And you call that Mickey Mousing. And because the music is completely synchronous on the movement in your film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What is the best or worst advice that you ever received regarding your creative career?
Let them find you.
That was good or bad?
Bad. Always take action.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't ever wait for them to find you.
Exactly.
And what is one warning sign that you watch for when considering to take on a project?
If everything is fake in the beginning, so from you can do that and that kind of thing, and actually okay, they want to use me. They have no idea what is going to happen, and they think if we give him a bone, maybe something happens. Yeah. And most of the time, that is accumulating from something small that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't pay.
So the ask starts out, they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, well, maybe you'll help us.
Yeah.
And then they just keep asking and asking and asking without having a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's bad.
Yeah. And it happens a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
So how do you stay current in your practice? Like, do you have routines, observation, practicing?
When I'm at home, and even if I watch television, I have a musical instrument in my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you stay current with audio engineering?
There's something new and you read about it, and then suddenly it appears, and like here. Yeah. And then you have to work with it if you know what it is, yes or no. And your knowledge from standard audio engineering and your creativity make them, that's what you can do with it. Let's try that, or don't use it. And let's see what we can do, and afterwards, yeah.
So you're not. So you try new technology. You read about it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm developing electronics as well.
Okay.
There's a few electronic gadgets here that are designed and built by me in this building. Yeah.
Here at Valencia.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're creatively blocked, but the deadline is real.
Yeah.
How do you get unstuck?
Take a long sleep. Yeah. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way. I have, especially in the beginning, if I had a block, and if that was a block that was introduced by someone or something else, or that it was just that that my concentration was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only thing is not to go on and try and try and try and try, because that is endless most of the time. And then if you think, okay, now this is acceptable, here the next time, no, this is not it. No, let's, yeah, I've been there.
Right.
Many times,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning. Later on, I thought, okay, it's not worth it spending time, rest. And the funny thing is, I have the best ideas 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I awake and then the aha-erlebnis, yeah.
Yeah. So you just walk away, relax,
Yeah.
have a nap,
Yeah, play
and then
guitar.
you come back to it refreshed.
Yeah, play guitar and...
Shift focus.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, three more sentences, or 3 more questions. So in one sentence, what does being an artist mean to you?
My life.
Name one artist, past or present, whose work brings you great joy. So this could be a musician, but it also could be a visual artist or just anybody. An artist whose work.
Snook Siegelin.
Who's that?
That is a blues guitar player, singer from New Orleans. He is blind. He's got a voice like Ray Charles. And the man is the American Songbook.
Wow.
Yeah.
Last one. What is one thing that you are deeply grateful for right now?
Actually, being Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little country, but it gives you a lot of possibilities. And this is one of the things that bothers me here in America.
Mm-hmm.
I could study until I was 27 years old without any debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually, after 18 years of age, you get paid minimum wage by the government
Okay.
for just studying. So you don't have to work like my students here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can purely concentrate on what you're studying. And of course, in the Netherlands, if you cannot pay for housing, you get subsidy for housing.
Mm-hmm.
And after you're 18 years of age, you have at least minimum wage.
Wow.
Yeah, work or not. Yeah, it's getting a little bit different slowly, but being Dutch and growing up there, and you don't have to worry. And I see the worry in the eyes of my students here. I have a debt from $90,000, and that's not a way to start your life.
No.
No, that is that worries me. If I see that here, why is it not possible to have college free of charge? It should be. And because if you are a good college student and you go into the world and work for a company, that company actually makes that they don't have to pay for your education, and they use it.
Yeah.
And it sounds maybe a little bit on the socialist side, but that if you are born in England, Holland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, it's all the same there in those countries. Those northern European countries, they have a social system where education is something that should be for the community, not for the person itself. But there's a but. You have to succeed, because if you don't succeed, that right disappears, and then you have to work for your thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you have to do well in school.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, we're going to miss you. We are going to miss you at Valencia College.
Yeah.
And at the School of Art, Entertainment, and Design. And I know that the recording program will miss you. Will miss you dearly. Are you looking forward? What are you looking forward to when you return to Holland?
I'm going to write a book.
Really?
Yeah, about audio engineering.
That is amazing. Will you send us a copy?
You already have it.
Oh, do we?
Yes. All the readers from audio engineering are written by me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's about 300 pages of readers that I... Yeah.
That's amazing. And thank you for sharing all of your knowledge with us.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So thank you for joining us on Embracing the Bold, and thank you for taking the time to learn about the life of Peter Van der Sande and all of his expertise and artistry. And please join us next time on Embracing the Bold. And don't forget to check out our season. The School of Arts, Entertainment, and Design is starting out with the musical Return to the Forbidden Planet, opening October 17th, and our Haunt experience that opens the following week. And we will see you next time.